Ayo, what it do, YouTube? It's your boy Alvin MB10, aka AMR10, and what I have for you today, after a long while, is some NBA 2K23 Next Gen. Now, I did say I was most likely not going to upload a single video until 2K24, but recently I've been uploading a lot of TikToks, which is just generally me uploading a lot of 2K23 builds, and someone asked me to make a Tim Duncan build. Now, the big thing about this is, ever since I started this channel, as you know, I've been making builds since about 2K20, and I am yet to make a single Tim Duncan build, and I feel kind of disrespectful for it, because he is one of my favorite players of all time, and he is one of the greatest big men of all time, should be in everybody's top 10. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the very best, one and only Tim Duncan build, made just in time for Season 9, which is only a week in so far. Now, getting straight into the build, as most of you know, Tim Duncan is power forward, right-handed, number 21, nicknamed Mr. Fundamental just because of how sound his game is. Now, height-wise, Timmy does come in at about 6'11", weighing 250 pounds, which is kind of undersized for a big man of that height, and having a wingspan of about 7'5". But as those of us who saw him play saw, even with him being underweight, the boy used to really do what he wanted when he was in the paint. Now, before we get into the skill breakdown for this build, I do gotta say a special shout out to all of you for generally all the support you showed the channel through 2K23. It is highly appreciated. We haven't been uploading for almost a month now, and people are still watching videos, liking videos, and dropping comments, so I do gotta say thank you. But I also gotta say, if you're new to the channel and you ain't done so yet, do me a favor, go ahead and hit that subscribe button as well as turning post notifications on. I am trying to get to 2,000 subs. We are about 50 away, but I really am trying to get to it before 2K24, because in 2K24, I'm gonna try and make a major push for a much larger number that is kind of insane. And I do gotta say, if you enjoyed today's video and you want to see more content like this in 2K24, then do me a favor, go ahead and hit that like button down below. And lastly but not least, a little bit of a weird one, go down below in the comments and tell me what you're excited about with 2K24, because again, more likely than not, we won't be dropping another 2K23 video unless there's something you guys really want to see. But do me a favor, in the description, I have put the link to the TikTok. Go follow that, because we do upload quite a bit on there, and it is kind of fun just because short form content, that 60-second stuff, I do kind of enjoy it, especially on TikTok. But yeah, getting straight into the build, let's get the physicals out the way first. As with all the builds that I started to make towards the end of the year, I always got to go with the 90 stamina to start with, just because how quickly you can burn through it within 2K. Vertical wise, I decided to go with a 65 because it does mean we can get those pro big man contact dunks. And then strength wise, you always got to go with an 82 at the least on these big man builds, because you will be fighting in the paint and strength does play a little bit of a factor. Now, when it comes to speed and acceleration, I only went with a 60-60 split because, again, this is a Tim Duncan build and he wasn't the most uber athletic fast guy up and down the floor. So we weren't going to make him that just for the heck of making a 2K build. Now, to round off the finishing, as I said, Tim Duncan was commonly known as Mr. Fundamental because of how fundamentally sound his game was. So we started off with a close shot of a 95 because it meant that we got that gold Hall of Fame masher, which, as it says for itself, improves the player's ability to finish well around the rim, especially over smaller defenders. And yeah, Tim Duncan always did that against smaller defenders. Driving layup wise, only put this up to a 62. Originally, I had it at about an 80, but really and truly as a big man, you don't need it that high because there's very few situations where you'll find yourself in driving layup situations. Majority of the time, it's a lot of close shots that you take or driving or standing dunks, which is on the driving dunk side of things. Decided to go with a 79. You could easily boost this to an 80 if you wanted for specific dunk packages, but I only went with a 79 because, again, you're a big man. Just as you, like, in order of it, you're going to see a lot more standing dunks and close shots as your tier 1 shots that you make within the paint. Tier 2 is going to be driving dunks, which you'll really get to because there's going to be very few situations where you're really running by people like that. And tier 3 will be the driving layups, which, again, last thing you'll most likely ever do. And then when it came to the standing dunks, as you can guess, went with an 80 because, again, as I said before, we were trying to get at least pro big man contacts on this build. Now, for post control, I always put this up to an 87 on guys who I know to be Hall of Fame post players, and Tim Duncan is one of the greatest post players we've ever seen. And that's because at an 87, you get all the post badges at Hall of Fame. And as most of you know, to really shoot out of the post when it comes to the face-up game or fadeaways, it needs to be a mid-range jump shot, so we always go to the 87. Now, this does mean we get 22 total finishing badges of Hall of Fame Dream Shake, Drop Stepper, Giant Slayer. You see them all. I'm not going to go through them, but these are the badges you can get with this build. And then when it came to the shooting, to stick with Timmy's game, we maxed out the mid-range jump shot at an 87 and put the 3-ball up to a 57 to help us with a little bit of the badge count. Key thinking here is Tim Duncan's known for his ability to knock down jump shots from mid and inside, when it comes to his 3-ball, he shot 25% over his career, rarely ever shot him, and even when he did, he had seasons where he shot like 12%, so you know he isn't the greatest 3-point shooter, hence why we didn't put it up. And then when it came to the free throw, I put this up to a 70 because really, truly, that's the bare minimum you need to really dominate in this game when you're getting fouled. You need a 70 free throw. Anything above that, you'll be able to knock down your free throws as you please. Now with 15 total shooting badge points, the good thing here is majority of the badges we need are tier 1s, and that being Midi Magician, Space Creator, and then of course we also need Guard Up, which is a tier 2, and Blinders. Now when it comes to the playmaking side of things, I decided to go with a 53 when it came to the ball handle to start off with. I went with a 50 at the minimum because I do remember on one of the builds I made, people did say they want to see this at least a 50. Just so it's a little bit usable. And then when it came to the pass accuracy, I put this up to a 72. Technically speaking, I had it higher to get that, I had it at a 73 to get that gold post playmaker. But the truth of it is, with it being a tier 3 badge, unless you somehow have a lot of extra badge points you're willing to waste on playmaking for a big man build, yeah, you will never really get the opportunity to equip that badge. So I decided to leave it at a 72, meaning we do get only 9 playmaking badges. But again, you have the capability of getting that silver quick first step, as well as silver break starter, or I would personally take it along the lines of get quick first step, get break starter, and then core vice grip, just because as a big man, you're going to be catching a lot of passes, and when you do catch them, as it says, it increases a player's ability to secure the ball against steal attempts after obtaining possession from a rebound, catch, or loose ball. And yeah, when you get in those situations, you don't exactly want to not have vice grip. Now defensively, even though it is not spoken of, Tim Duncan, a really good defender, and I was not letting this game make me disrespect him because technically speaking, when I set it up this way, it doesn't allow us to get him in the shades off. But we went with an 88 on the interior defense, which means we get that gold interior lockdown. When it came to the steal and perimeter defense, we didn't touch these at all because again, he never played his defense on the perimeter. Majority of the time he stayed inside for mid and in. When it came to the block, we put this up to an 87. I had it at a 93, but it meant that we couldn't get the rebounding attributes we wanted, so I decided to lower it down to an 87 because it does mean you can get that silver anchor, but it also means that you can get the ability to contest shots as nicely as you like. And then on the offensive rebound side of things, put this up to an 85 because it does give us that extra badge point as well as giving us that silver rebound chaser. And then put the defensive rebound up to a 92 because it, again, gives us an extra little badge point, but also means we can get gold pogo stick. Now, if you're me, you want to run gold box out beast, lockdown, workhorse, pogo stick, and then anchor and rebound chaser on your choice. Brick wall is up to you. I'm not too fussed because again, I'm a guard who doesn't care too much about people setting screens for me, but some guards might want you to run it. But remember, we all paid for this game, so we all get to elect how we want to play it. Now, as you can see, we do have 22 total finishing badges, 15 shooting, 19 playmaking, and 25 defensive, giving us a grand total of 34, 49, 71 total badge points on this build, which is really low, but expected with big man builds. And then obviously, if you finished all the seasons of NBA 2K23 Next Gen, as well as finished the My Career, you will be well over 80 plus total badge points on this build, which means you can do quite a lot. Now, for the primary takeover, as it is a Mr. Fundamental build, the very first thing I'm going for is advanced post moves, because as it says, it makes it easier to beat your defenders with post spins, fakes, drives, and clearouts. And then for the secondary take, I would stick with another post one, but it's up to you. You could easily go with post shot daggers, which gives a large boost to post hook, fade, up and unders, shimmy, and hop shots, which Timmy was known to hit, but for the sake of the build, I would go with See the Future because as it says, shows you where missed shots will land ahead of time, giving you an upper hand in chasing boards, which is really important when you're a big man. Now, the shades of we do get on this build happen to be 2 players I have actually watched and 1 player I have not. In Dan Isel, never watched him, drafted in 1970. That was way before I was ever conceived. Jaren Jackson, drafted in 2018, been watching him since he's been drafted. And of course, Evan Mobley, who is just a stud for the Cavaliers. Now, the name of the build is a 2-way inside the arc scorer, which makes a whole lot of sense with the 57 3-ball, which is kind of disrespectful because why do we have Jaren Jackson and Evan Mobley here? I suspect it's the defense, but hey, that's the game and that's 2K disrespecting players. Now, hopefully you guys enjoyed today's video, which if you did, don't forget to do me a favor, go ahead and hit that like button. If you're new to the channel and you ain't done so yet, don't forget to hit that subscribe button as well as turning post notices on. And lastly but not least, don't forget to go down below and in the comment section, tell me what you think about 2K24 so far. Have you pre-ordered it? Because I haven't. I'm probably going to do that later. And also just tell me how you're doing. And don't forget, check out the TikTok link in the description. Anyway, it's been your boy Alvin MB10, aka AMR10. We will not be doing a bash breakdown for this build unless you guys really want to see one. But yeah, I'll catch you in a bit. Deuces.